Title: iPhone Story and Lessons for Entrepreneurial Ideation. Part 1, for entrepreneurs learning how to ideate new products. The story in brief: Apple's iPhone began as a question about daily friction. Why carry many devices when one could do most jobs? Teams at Apple watch people juggle phones, music players, and clumsy pocket internet devices. From those observations grew a bold idea: create a single, pocketable device that would make calling, listening, and browsing simple and delightful. That idea did not arrive fully formed. It was shaped by sketches, taped mock-ups, heated debates about trade-offs, and repeated tests with real users. The story of the iPhone is useful for entrepreneurs because it shows ideation as a repeated habit of observing people, narrowing focus, and integrating design, software, supply, and business thinking. Why the iPhone story matters to entrepreneurs. The iPhone changed many industries and introduced a new way of designing products. Start with human needs, defend simplicity, think in systems, and iterate quickly. For entrepreneurs, the iPhone is not merely an icon of success, it is a template for disciplined creativity. It shows how small choices, screen size, input method, syncing strategy, developer access, combine to create enormous value. Studying this story helps founders learn how to turn messy observations into clear product promises and how to align teams to build something that people will actually want and pay for. Principle 1. Start with deep user empathy. Explanation. Empathy begins by paying attention. Apple's early teams watched how people actually used phones and music players. How thumbs missed tiny keys. How people fumbled with playlists. How they hesitated to browse on awkward browsers. Entrepreneurs should collect these moments of friction and translate them into specific problems to solve. Empathy is not asking people what they want and assuming those answers are actionable. It is watching what they do, hearing how they describe their struggles, and mapping the unmet needs that recur across users. Common mistakes companies make. Designing from the center of expertise rather than the edge of user pain. Asking only hypothetical questions that lead to polished but misleading feedback. Treating a single user anecdote as proof instead of seeking patterns across many observations. 3 illustrative company mistakes. A handset maker overloaded the keypad with tiny icons because engineers loved features. Customers found typing harder and adoption stalled. A media device company relied on enthusiastic internal demos and launched an interface that shoppers found confusing in crowded stores. A startup built a clever scheduling tool based on founders' routines. Outside users did not share those routines and churned quickly. Lessons learned. Observe users in their real contexts and record specific moments of friction. Turn observations into concise problem statements that guide ideation. Seek patterns across many users before committing to a single design path. Principle 2. Define a single, clarifying value promise explanation. The iPhone team framed the device with a one-line promise: a phone, an iPod, and an internet communicator, made simple. That promise acted as a North Star. It helped teams decide which features to include and which to reject. For entrepreneurs, a tight value promise prevents scope creep and aligns product, engineering, and marketing around what truly matters to early customers. Common mistakes companies make: promising too many benefits and confusing both teams and customers. Shifting positioning repeatedly during development, which dilutes focus. Leading with technical specs instead of user benefits, making messages irrelevant to buyers. 3 illustrative company mistakes. A gadget was marketed as a gaming console, tablet, and phone at once. Customers could not tell why they should buy it. Software startup pivoted its sales pitch several times and lost early adopters who needed consistent value. A hardware firm highlighted processor benchmarks in ads while customers cared about battery life and portability. Lessons learned. Write one clear sentence that captures the product as core benefit and use it as a filter for decisions. Test that sentence with strangers to see if it communicates the intended value. Use the promise to prioritize features and to shape simple, honest marketing. Principle 3. Design the whole system, not just a part. Explanation. Apple treated the iPhone as a system of hardware, software, interaction, developer tools, and content delivery. Decisions about the screen affected battery, which affected software policies. Syncing methods shaped desktop software, and developer access multiplied the device's usefulness. Entrepreneurs should map the full user journey and design interactions, backends, partner relationships, and support as part of the product concept. Common mistakes companies make. Building attractive hardware while neglecting the companion software experience. Assuming third-party services will integrate smoothly without formal agreements or testing. Releasing a product whose supporting infrastructure, such as updates or content, is not ready. 3 illustrative company mistakes. A wearable shipped with impressive sensors but no usable app to interpret the data, leaving users confused. A smart home device depended on an external cloud service that changed terms, breaking key functionality. A gadget launched before its companion app was stable, causing poor onboarding and bad reviews. Lessons learned. Map end-to-end experiences early and identify dependencies across components. Multiply the full stack, hardware, software, services, so integration issues surface early. Own or secure tight partnerships for critical pieces of the system before launch. Closing of Part 1. These first principles, deep empathy, a clarifying promise, and system thinking, anchor ideation. They are practical and repeatable habits entrepreneurs can adopt immediately. Watch people closely, articulate the single most important thing your product must do, and design the surrounding system that makes that thing work in daily life. Part 2 will continue with iteration, simplicity, ecosystem planning, manufacturability, and economic viability, all told through scenes from the iPhone journey to keep lessons vivid and actionable. Title: iPhone Story and Lessons for Entrepreneurial Ideation. Part 2 for entrepreneurs learning how to ideate new products. Principle 4. Iterate with rapid prototypes and real tests. Explanation. The iPhone team learned fast by building crude mock-ups and letting people try them. Paper screens, taped housings, and simple software sketches revealed what felt natural and what flopped. Rapid cycles of build, test, learn made hidden problems obvious early, when fixes were cheap. For entrepreneurs, quick prototypes are experiments that shrink risk and sharpen ideas. Common mistakes companies make. Treating a polished demo as final proof, waiting too long to test with real users, and reading tests as validation instead of as data for change. 3 illustrative company mistakes. A gadget firm that spent months producing a finished unit and discovered a basic ergonomics flaw only after mass tooling. A startup that launched an app without alpha testing and faced mass confusion. A food brand that printed final packaging before shopper. Trials and had to recall large runs. Lessons learned. Prototype cheaply and often, test in real use contexts, and treat every prototype as evidence to guide the next iteration. Principle 5. Protect simplicity through ruthless prioritization. Explanation. Simplicity in the iPhone did not emerge by accident. Teams repeatedly asked whether a feature served the core promise. If it did not, it was cut. Simplicity reduces learning time, lowers support costs, and makes the product memorable. Entrepreneurs should use a clear filter. Does this help the user do the one main job? And be willing to sacrifice neat but distracting ideas. Common mistakes companies make. Adding features to please internal factions, layering on complexity to match competitors, and failing to remove legacy options that confuse newcomers. 3 illustrative company mistakes. A productivity app that kept every requested feature and overwhelmed new users. A camera maker that added modes and menus few users ever touched. A consumer device that shipped overloaded settings that made first-time setup tedious. Lessons learned. Define the one primary user job, use it to prioritize features, and prune relentlessly based on real usage data. Principle 6. Cultivate an ecosystem and open pathways for creators' explanation. From early on, the iPhone concept imagined third-party apps and services that would multiply device value. Enabling developers, curators, and partners made the product flexible and ever richer. For entrepreneurs, Thinking beyond the product to how others can extend and distribute it creates network effects and long-term stickiness. Common mistakes companies make: delaying developer tools until after launch, imposing complex or punitive rules that deter partners, and failing to seed the platform with initial high-value content. 3 illustrative company mistakes: a platform that launched with weak POS and few apps, a hardware maker with tight accessory rules that stunted a vibrant add-on market, a media device that signed no early content deals and opened to a sparse catalog. Lessons learned: provide simple, well-documented integration points, support early partners with incentives and technical help, see the ecosystem with flagship experiences that showcase the platform's potential. Principle 7. Design for manufacturability and supply resilience. Explanation: the iPhone's choices about screen size, materials, and tolerances were informed by what could be built reliably at scale. Early collaboration with manufacturing and procurement avoided surprises that derail launches. Entrepreneurs should factor sourcing, assembly, quality control, and backup suppliers into ideation so a promising concept does not fail at scale. Common mistakes companies make: specifying custom parts without supplier backups, assuming prototype assembly equals mass production, and ignoring quality processes until late. 3 illustrative company mistakes: a startup that relied on a single supplier and faced months of delay when that supplier faltered, a product with parts that required specialized tooling unavailable at reasonable cost, maker that underestimated inspection needs and released batches with high defect rates. Lessons learned: involve supply and manufacturing early, prefer multiple qualified suppliers for key parts, and run pilot production runs to validate processes before full scale. Closing of Part 2. These principles carry the iPhone story from insight to reality. Fast experiments revealed what users truly needed, strict focus kept the experience clear, ecosystem thinking multiplied value, and manufacturing foresight made the idea deliverable. For entrepreneurs, these practices shorten learning cycles and increase the odds that a prototype becomes a reliable product customers love. Part 3 will close with guidance on business model fit, governance for creativity, cautionary tales, and a practical checklist to use in founder workshops. Title: iPhone Story and Lessons for Entrepreneurial Ideation. Part 3 for entrepreneurs learning how to ideate new products, business model and go-to-market, thinking as part of ideation. Great product ideas must answer who pays and how the product reaches them. The iPhone story shows that ideation included not only hardware and interaction, but also pricing strategies, channel decisions, and service models. Entrepreneurs should sketch simple unit economics early: cost to make, likely selling price, and customer acquisition routes. Consider whether the product enables recurring revenue through services, consumables, or platform fees. Test purchase friction by watching people buy and use a prototype in realistic settings. Planning distribution, support, and monetization from the start prevents a great design from stalling at the cash register. Governance and leadership practices that protect creative momentum breakthrough ideas flourish when leaders set a clear North Star and protect small teams to explore toward it. At Apple, senior leaders define the product promise and then judge progress by working prototypes and user evidence rather than glossy slides. For founders, this means delegating authority to compact cross-functional squads, shortening decision loops, and insisting that major proposals be supported by prototypes or field tests. Reward learning, not just success, so teams feel safe to discard cherished concepts when evidence points elsewhere. Cautionary tales and what they teach us. One caution is the hazard of feature accumulation. A company that kept adding requested features lost new users who could not learn the product. Steady churn followed. The lesson is to ruthlessly prioritize the core job the product must do. Another caution is the peril of ignoring supply realities. A promising device stalled because a single supplier failed, leaving months of backorders and reputational damage. The lesson is to validate suppliers and design for redundancy. A final caution is the trap of neglecting ecosystem builders. A platform that launched without developer support found few apps and weak adoption. Later recovery was costly. The lesson is to seed and nurture partners early as part of the idea. A practical checklist founders and teams can use in ideation workshops. Define the user problem in one plain sentence and test if strangers understand it. Sketch at least 3 different ways the product might solve that problem. Build quick prototypes that test the riskiest assumptions in real contexts. Observe users using prototypes and note actions, not just words. Pick the single most important interaction and make it delightfully simple. Map the system around the product. Software, partners, distribution, support. Run a basic unit economics sketch and try a simple price test. Talk to potential suppliers and ask for lead times and sample costs. Draft a minimal developer or partner pathway with incentives to join early. Plan a post-launch cadence of small updates and feedback cycles. How to teach these lessons in short sessions and lab exercises. Run a rapid ideation sprint where teams must produce a 1-sentence value proposition, a paper or cardboard prototype, and a 5-minute user test within 1 day. Emphasize quick observation over polished presentation. Use roleplay. Have team members adopt user personas and use the prototype in a realistic setting. Debrief every test with a crisp learning note. What surprised us, what we will change, and what we will drop. Repeat cycles until a clear direction emerges. Measuring progress without killing creativity. Choose a few simple metrics that reflect learning, not just vanity. Track how many risky assumptions have been tested, how many user sessions produced actionable changes, and whether the core interaction can be completed by new users without help. Avoid metrics that reward feature accumulation or short-term vanity installs. Use qualitative notes and short video clips from tests alongside numbers. The human story often reveals what raw metrics hide. Funding, timing, and patience. Balancing urgency with learning. Invest enough to run meaningful tests, but avoid the temptation to scale a single untested version quickly. The iPhone story shows patient iteration before large capital commitment. For startups, this means staging funding to unlock experiments, keeping burn aligned with learning milestones, and resisting pressure to launch before core usability is proven. Patience is not delay, it is disciplined sequencing of experiments that build confidence. Final reflections and encouragement for entrepreneurs. The iPhone did not appear as a finished miracle overnight. It emerged from repeated small choices. Observing real people, defending a single clear promise, designing the whole system, testing rough prototypes, pruning features, enabling others to build on the platform, and planning how the product would be made and sold. For founders, the practical path is repeatable. Stay curious. Watch what people actually do. Build cheap experiments and learn fast. Defend simplicity. Plan for partners and production. And always tie your creative energy to a clear user problem that keeps your team aligned. A short pep talk. Your best product idea will start small and imperfect. Treat each prototype as a conversation with real people. Let the evidence guide you more than your instincts alone. If you practice these habits, empathy, focus, systems thinking, rapid learning, and practical planning, TPP will see odds that your next invention will become something people love and the business can sustain. Keep going. The next small learning you make could change everything.